Rum and Reasoning.
Yes, welcome back to another episode of Rum and Reasoning. We've obviously got myself, Siggy Moore, Chris Shaker over here. Before we get into the intros, I can see this rum right here, and I'm excited.
Yeah, man.
As soon as you see Foursquare, you know this is some quality stuff.
Yeah.
This is some real quality stuff. So, Chris, talk to us about this rum, please.
Cool. So, as you remember, the last couple of bits we were in Colombia, right? So
Yes.
we've now come back to the sunny
Where we belong.
shores of Barbados, the Caribbean. Do you know that? Did you know? Just fun fact, yeah. Did you know that rum was actually invented in Barbados?
I did.
You did know that. Yeah?
I did know that.
Okay,
Yes.
cool. So, if you didn't know, just throwing that out there. So, obviously, master distillers and whatnot. This is coming from Foursquare, which has won countless awards for rum, top distillery for about 10 years or something.
Sorry to interject. I know we've done a lot of rums, guys. We've done a lot of rums from all over. If you don't have a Foursquare in your collection, I would argue you don't have a collection. That's how far I would go. That's how far I would go. I know you're trying to do the whole kind of modest thing, Barbados.
I wouldn't necessarily say you ain't got a collection because it depends what you like. But Foursquare is something that if you don't know about it and you're really into rum, it's something that I'd advise to check out. But anyway, this one is a 14 years age. Anyone who knows anything about alcohol, the more years you put on it, typically the better it is. So this is a kind of mid to high tier rum. This is Dawley's age 14 year. It's
Dawley's.
This one is I'm getting a lot of caramel and kind of caramel. It's got like a bit of a nutty kind of thing to it. It just
deep,
really tastes really.
It's rich,
flavorful, strong body.
Yeah. Whereas the Colombian rum that we looked at was a bit lighter, a bit more airy. We looked at it. I think it would have been last episode or previously. This is, again, it's letting me know my palate is very biased. This is the type of rum I'm used to. It's got body to it. It's got weight. It's got depth, the flavor. This is what I regard as rum.
It's strong. What I will tell you with these Bajan rums is you definitely, the weight to it. So you definitely know afterwards.
Yeah.
Like the next day, you're not hungover, but you just know in your body.
You've been drinking rum.
Yeah, I had some rum
last
night.
It's
different. Whereas with some of the more exotic things, it's not really the same.
To be honest, how I see it is a lot of those more exotic ones are things you'd put in a cocktail. You with me? You put in a cocktail for the flavor and so on and so forth. This is just my opinion.
Yeah.
But again, I'm going to reiterate this. Foursquare is arguably.
Yeah. This is not some, put it like this. I like to, I love rum punch. Maybe again, it's just my thing. But this is not something that you really want to chase.
No.
Yeah, it's not something you really want to chase. I've chased it today. I'm working. I've got a few meetings and whatnot. But this really is, one ice cube.
Yeah.
And you nurse that.
Yeah.
But anyway, for me, I'm biased as well, but this is going to be, it's kind of going off for the last one. This is going to be another 5 out of 5 for me. Yeah. So I'm on a little bit of a 5 out of 5 streak because we're dealing with quality rum.
Yeah, I'd say this is probably not the best Foursquare rum in their collection.
You don't think so?
No, it's not the best Foursquare rum. It's one of their best. It's not the best. So I would give it a strong 4.5. But I would also say, please explore Foursquare rums, the range they have. Yep. You will find something there that meets your palate. Can we make sure as well that we're tagging them in these clips as well, so they need to know
they ain't paying me,
we're bigging them up.
They ain't paying me, but
they will. You don't know, but let me do the intro, Chris. I know you got some facts and statistics. Okay, cool. So we are going to be talking about the title. Let me make sure I read this properly. Unmanning men, not unbigging your back. Unmanning men. What's happening to masculinity now? Whether you like it or not, whether you agree with how things are going or not. The idea of masculinity, say 30 years ago, and the idea of masculinity now is changing. You can see public perception through the media. There is a shift in masculinity, and the idea of that old, rugged kind of masculinity that is the provider male,
alpha male.
Yeah, we're shifting away from that, and we're going to kind of explore that today. So, Chris, I know you've got some real facts and statistics around that. So let's go.
So in researching for this particular episode, I produced some stats, right? And I got to say, some of these I found to be shocking. So the first one I'm gonna go for is it's mind blowing to me. Did you know that suicide is the leading cause of death for men under 50 in the UK?
I'm gonna big up somebody here. I'm gonna say 100% yes.
Yeah.
I'm gonna big up Coach Ray Sifa. It's somebody I've done some work with, a good friend of mine, and he's doing some amazing work around men's mental health
Right.
in that space.
Yeah.
So yeah, something to speak about. It's a big thing, but
The
it's
leading cause of death,
it
bro.
is
So
not.
you're saying we're not talking about cancer, we're not
No,
talking about
we're not
AIDS,
talking about knife
we're
crime.
not talking about knife crime,
No, no.
or we're
Man,
talking
man are killing them.
suicide,
Yeah,
not
man are
even
killing themselves.
homicide, you know.
No, killing themselves.
Suicide.
Yeah.
So that blew my
And
mind.
sorry, before we kind of move on, what people will say, especially in regards to kind of gendering of that,
Right.
is women have more attempts at suicide, men are more successful. So women will, it's usually perceived as a kind of cry for help.
Yeah.
Whereas like they might take some tablets or so on and so forth. Whereas men are in their suicides are violent. So
right.
they will
jump off a bridge or something.
jump off a bridge or something quite physical or impactful.
Yeah.
That where they know they're going to complete the job. So yeah, there is a difference in even how it's done.
That one, we need to unpack that. That just blew me away. The leading cause of death for men under 50 in the UK is suicide. Yeah. 63% of young men, say society, between 18 to 29, just to give the caveat, say that society is becoming increasingly hostile to masculinity.
Yep.
Boys are 3 times more likely to be diagnosed with behavioral disorders than girls, but are far less likely to receive emotional support. And the numbers, well, I think we're ready for this. The number of fatherless homes in the urban communities has risen by 25% in the past decade.
And that is that's no not there's no race involved in that. That's just
it's
across the board.
Across the board. And TikTok and Instagram have now become number one source of male role models for Gen Z boys.
Right.
That reminds me of when you was telling me that you were speaking to a young man and he had like no father, nothing. Yeah. He literally had zero contact with any males outside of like his teachers at school.
None.
No personal contact.
And that is quite a prevalent theme where a lot of outside of this podcast, I'm an educator, run a business, and I'm an assistant head. So I have a lot of contact with kind of young people, specifically boys. That's not uncommon, where you will have young men, teenage boys, who will go weeks without having a conversation with a man. Weeks without having a conversation with a man. That's it. Oftentimes.
So this is quite an emotive topic for me. I mean, I've got like really strong perceptions. So I guess let's dive into masculinity, or what's left of it in 2025.
Well, you've already given yours. Like, so, right. This is we've got to be. This is kind of to spark kind of thought and debate,
right?
And we're not railroading anybody, because what we can see from the statistics, there is a massive problem, and nobody wants to address it. There are different pockets of. I'll take that back. There are different pockets of people trying to do work. This isn't in the mainstream. In the same way that, let's say, things like if male suicide was looked at in the same way that maybe breast cancer awareness was looked at,
right?
They're not having the same kind of media pull, if that makes sense.
Yeah, I hear you.
Yeah. So,
but why? I mean, if you're coming, if you want to deal with the suicide thing, why do you think that young? Well, it's not even young. If you're saying under 50, why are men killing themselves?
Do you know what? I'm gonna pull up my phone. I was having a conversation. I made a post very recently about an issue in the media around a young man, and somebody posted some serious statistics about young men and how they form friendship groups, and how they're forming bonds, and it's changing.
Yeah,
you used to have something called a third space. Yeah. So I always, this is going to show our age now. Do you remember the sitcom Friends? Not Friends, Cheers.
Yeah, man.
And the theme song was where everybody knows your name. Yeah. And you had certain man who had a bar stool, like Norm had his bar stool. Cliff had his bar stool.
Yeah, man.
And this is where men would, outside of work, home, would have a third space where they can express their thoughts, feelings, opinions, so on and so forth. Almost like therapy.
It's the club, right? Yeah. It's like the club.
Generally speaking, millennial men, Gen Z, they don't have that. They don't have that. The closest I'm kind of engaging, listening to men speak is like if you're an online gamer, if you're in an online space, kind of gaming space, that's kind of your third space, but it's not physical as such.
Really?
Yep. That's where I'm.
So if I was going to push back on that, what's happened to the football clubs? What's happened to the five-a-side? Because I don't know if it's a generational thing, but when I tap into my friendship groups, obviously I'm within this 50, right? A lot of them are doing martial arts. A lot of them are doing jiu-jitsu. Some of them box. Some of them have church as their thing. Or it might be the mosque. Some of them have got gym memberships. A lot of my guys are active. Like what? They don't count, or is it just that the young millennials are not into that kind of stuff?
It is just not. I think I'd say we fall into kind of millennials. It's not
Gen Z then, yeah.
Yeah, Gen Z and millennials. They're just not falling into those spaces. That it's not happening. The cracks are much bigger. So the idea of kind of community as well, because Cheers would have been a kind of community thing. Community doesn't exist in the same way that it did. It's moved. You're right. There are people who are doing like a five-a-side thing or a gym thing, but it's kind of few and far between. If you were to kind of look broader outside of maybe your immediate friendship group and look at the kind of people you knew, the people you grew up with, you're like, no, I ain't seen a man for time, or I ain't seen such and such in a while, or what would be the space where you would see or you would interact? They don't exist. Especially, I would say more so in Black Caribbean communities. You'd have.
I'll push back on that. I don't think it's that they don't exist. You know what I think it is. I think it's that.
Name them.
I just did. I think that those spaces are the mosque, the church, the gym. They are they're the football pitch for the five-a-side on a Saturday morning, on a Sunday morning. They are the boxing club. They're the jiu-jitsu
those
studio.
places,
and all of those. And the reason why I'm saying
they are spaces.
I mean, all of those spaces.
And I said outside of your. So again,
no. But I'm saying to you, I'm not talking about my group, because when I go to these places, there's groups within groups, right? So, for example, I don't really go to church per se, but there's groups at the church, right? But there's groups in the BJJ.
Church numbers are falling. Like
gym numbers
ridiculously.
Gym numbers are growing. So there's groups in the gym. You know what I think it is? This is my take, yeah. But I see where you're coming from. I think it's more of that there's a cohort of men, a massive number that's growing in our society that are followers, and they're followers of media. And I think the problem is at the moment that media isn't really portraying very favorable images of men. It's usually some guy who's super duper weak, or it's some evil villain, or it's some crazy rapist with a big old knife in a bush, or a serial killer. It's all these really weird kind of thingies, and maybe that's what's influencing people to move and swerve.
I think, and I'll send you some stuff on this. Yeah, male loneliness is a serious thing. Like bro, I'll send you the stats. Male loneliness is a serious thing on the back of mental health. But I do agree with you. The perceptions of kind of men and what masculinity looks like is very skewed. And I'll give you like a funny anecdote. In a lot of like the cartoons you watch, so like the kind of adult cartoons, like your Homer Simpsons, the dad from Family Guy, they're kind of buffoonish. If you notice, they're kind of out of shape. They're a bit silly. They're a bit stupid. I'll tell you a brilliant one as well. There was a big critique on it. I know your kids might be a bit too old for this, but Peppa Pig. Daddy Pig's an idiot. Do you know what I mean? Like Daddy Pig is a bit buffoonish, and it's Mummy Pig who kind of always okay, Daddy Pig. Yeah. I was literally watching one the other day where he dropped his keys down a thing, and I had to dig the whole thing. I was like, Daddy Pig's a G, man. Daddy Pig is portrayed, and
he's a doer.
If you're
I like Daddy Pig. Daddy Pig's a doer. He always thinks he can do it, man. I can change that curtain rail.
Yeah.
Come on.
And then he matches it up.
But he gets the A for effort, bro. because half the time it's about wanting to get out there and do that.
I understand what you're saying, but you've got to
Put some
understand.
respect on Daddy Pig's name, bro.
You've got to understand how that is perceived by a young brain. Like, yeah, he may do it, but he's the one who messes it up.
No, I actually agree.
Homer Simpson messes it up. Homer Simpson loves his family.
Yeah.
He's a devoted family.
The more time where they put it, that the daddies are idiots. The dad's an idiot. Mummy's got to be the strong one, keep everybody in
keep
line.
everything together, so on and so forth.
It's an agenda, really, right? In it to destroy masculinity.
The
way that males are portrayed, as I mentioned before, either as like super weak and buffoonish, or like overly aggressive and macho to the point where you get the whole toxic masculinity.
I agree with you there. There's never the middle road.
There's no middle road. There's no like this decent guy goes in.
That doesn't exist.
It doesn't exist.
Which is probably where the dearth of
in
men
our time,
are.
it would have been Desmond's, right? It would have been those characters who are kind of like the mature guy. He's the source he's a source of wisdom.
It's interesting. There's somebody who I'm thinking about. When you said Desmond, I went to go, and I was like, no, I can't talk about him anymore because he's been cancelled.
Exactly.
But
Cosby Show.
He would have been the archetypal kind of like smart. Because we can talk about the show.
Listen, you have to drop this cancel business. I'm not into this.
Listen,
I'm not serious, man. I don't like the way that this thing is going, bro. Like, listen, yeah. We have to stop towing the line. This is a safe place, bro.
Yeah?
Yeah, we can't talk about the Cosby Show. Do you understand what I'm saying to you?
We can talk about the show, but we can't talk about the person.
I will talk about the person.
Yeah.
If you don't want to talk about the person, I get it. But we're not talking about people's personal things. At the end of the day, the way that I look at it, you know, we can't, unless we are in a case, we can't really speak to that. But society becomes a dangerous place when you start throwing out the art with the artist, because usually as people we're all flawed, right?
Yeah, 100%.
You know what I'm saying?
100%.
So some of the most charismatic and productive and important people in society, any way that you look at it, whether you look at black society, whether you look at normal society, across colour lines or whatever it is, are complicated people, right? You look at Picasso.
Look at Shaft.
Picasso was dealing with some funny business. Do you understand? But his art.
Maybe a better example would be Uncle Phil. That's a bit more of a safer. Yeah, Uncle Phil from Fresh Prince, in regards to a middle ground of masculinity where he was intelligent, he was caring, he was so on and so forth.
What's the scandal about Uncle Phil?
No, there is none. That's what I'm saying. He might be a safer bet. But that idea where you're saying we don't get depictions of that kind of middle ground male who is more rounded. He's either extreme this way or extreme that way.
Yeah, that's a good example.
We don't.
Was a good one.
Yeah, we don't. You're 100% right. We don't get enough of those.
I think Cosby was the elite, though, man.
No, 100%.
Cosby was the elite.
But
he was
they've destroyed his legacy. I was trying to explain to
R.I.P. Malcolm Jamal Warner. Man.
Yeah, 100%. And even him as a black boy, you with me? A flawed, like he could be silly, he could be immature, he could be insightful, he could be all of those things of what a black boy is. Black boys don't see depictions of those type of black boys.
Yeah,
you see depictions of like I don't want to say it because it's used. Like, you know, that Adolescence show or even Top Boy or so on and so forth. They are constantly extreme versions of boys. I remember when watching Theo in the Cosby Show, you'd see him have his dilemmas but he could go to his dad and speak to him about it, or he could go to his mum and they would kind of set him right. Or do you remember the scenes where they would be in the bed together and they'd talk about what's happening in the family?
Yeah.
Sorry, go on. Sorry.
No, but what I liked about that, I just wanted to follow from that. What I liked, and I think that you're picking up about with the Cosby Show thing and Theo, is he was the portrayal, even Fresh Prince to a degree, right? Of just your normal kid, irrespective of what was happening in and around, whether is in a wealthy setting, or it was like Desmond's where they were in a little bit more of a working class setting. Do you know what I mean? Like dad's a barber, mum's a hairdresser, whatever it is. They were as juxtaposition with Fresh Prince, where they were super balling, right? Because Cosby Show was kind of like middle class. Desmond's was kind of like...
They were upper middle class, bro. Man, but one was a lawyer and the other one was a doctor, bro.
But that's still middle class. They weren't like... They didn't live in Bel Air.
Yes, yeah.
I hear you. But the point I'm trying to make that there was this kind of portrayal of... And this speaks to what media's doing a little bit as well. There was this portrayal of like normalcy. He's a kid coming home, he's doing his own work. although they might have some issues, like he's talking about, I met a girl, or I'm getting
struggling
bullied
at
at
school.
school. Someone's picking on me. It was just kind of like normal things. Whereas now, I feel like everything's extreme. So if you see a young man, it's a Top Boy scenario where he's living in a grow, and you know what I mean, or something wild,
extreme,
something wild. His mum's a cracked out prostitute, and he's living in a cannabis factory. Do you know what I'm saying? There's very rare.
You're 100% right, and I think a lot of this is
I think it's manufactured, bro. I think that I put on a tin hat, but I think that I don't even think it's that much of a conspiracy, really, innit? Like media, as we just discussed, is pushing these particular new brandings of what it means to be a boy, what it means to be the son, what it means to be a dad, what it means to be a mum, right?
Yeah.
And
reshaping.
It's reshaping society. And I think that what we're seeing in society through different things in pop culture, current events, or whatever it is this kind of playing out in real terms.
Yeah.
And people being like, but hold on a minute. Why, like Adolescence? That's a good one, right? So the Adolescence show. What's the main concept of that? You got a better. You probably give it a synopsis of it better than I would.
It would be, and again, and this feeds into what you're saying, where in essence, media, social media becomes the dominant narrative that crafts your understanding of yourself. So the young man in there was
kind of red pill, right?
Red pilled, yes. Yeah. So oftentimes people look to, and I like the way they did it. He comes from like a quote unquote ordinary family, like older
working
sister, working class,
salt the earth.
He had a dad at home.
Yep.
He had a dad at home and all that. So you can't kind of blame that, but it's the power of the social media. And I talk to a lot of parents about, and I'm glad that recently there's kind of legislation that's coming in to look at online safety for young people. They're looking at making sure that, I think it's people under 16, is it 13 or 16? I want to say 13, don't have any more than 2 hours screen time. Because what I say is, and I agree with you, you have powerful media conglomerates. So like back in the day, the media conglomerates we had weren't tech companies.
Yeah.
The tech companies and the media companies are almost kind of one in the same. So Meta and Google, they are tech/media companies. Amazon is a tech/media companies, right, where
they produce the movies and they have a hand in social media.
And they have a hand in, and what it is they're harvesting your children's data from young.
Yeah. But can I ask you something? Actually, no. Sorry. No, I want you to finish the synopsis on Adolescence so we can touch on that.
So in essence, he was a young man who had been red pilled. In being red pilled, if you're not familiar with that, it's extreme ideas of what masculinity looks like, what your interactions with women look like. The figurehead of the red pill society, which I hate, is Andrew Tate. I hate the fact that they've kind of minimized it to one person, like some one guy who does karate, which is absolute rubbish. The people we really need to be looking at are the media conglomerates and tech companies who are pushing this content, allowing this content to feed into the algorithm because they're aware of the insecurities of a lot of our young people. Mm-hmm. So if you know that, like I'm gonna go back now. Like, I'm sure you read it. Did you read Adrian Mole?
Yeah. Oh, I loved Adrian Mole. I loved Adrian Mole.
Did we? I think we swapped it. Yes. There was a Adrian Mole. Go and do your research.
12 3/4.
Yeah, 13 3/4. Yeah. And there was a bit in there where
Penelope.
He used. Oh no, it wasn't Penelope. It will come to me in a sec. Yeah. Where he measured his willy, for want of a better phrase. I don't know how you. Yeah. And those are kind of standard things.
Didn't we all? Didn't we all?
Those are standard things like little teenage boys will have. Am I? Where am I? But when you've got tech companies feeding into those teenage insecurities and then feeding Pandora, rate that. No, rate that. Rate that. It was Pandora. My brother's gonna be disappointed that I didn't get it first. Yeah, no, it's Pandora. He's probably screaming, "It's Pandora, bro!" Like, yeah, it's Pandora. Yes. But you've got these tech companies and these social that feeding in. Those are natural insecurities of teenage boys. Do girls like me? Do you remember what he used to write about Pandora? When Pandora broke up with him for Nigel. Oh my gosh. Bro, those are, you can go back. What's that, 82? So that's like 40 years. You can go back. Those are natural teenage boy angst stuff. But what you've got is tech companies that now benefit off of harvesting those emotions and feelings and then feed you.
I got to redirect you right back to Adolescence.
Sorry. Yeah, no, this is what Adolescence is about.
Yeah.
Andrew Tate, they feed you Fresh and Fit. They feed you all of these guys.
The main character.
Yes. This little boy, he
gets red pilled and he ends up killing
one
of his classmates.
Yeah,
right?
but what he can't, the problem is he cannot see an issue with his behavior.
Right.
He can't,
because he's been so conditioned.
Because he's been so conditioned that, in essence, girls are, this is what we were talking about earlier off camera, girls are less than, a girl shouldn't be able to, so on and so forth. It's this crazy power dynamic that's been reaffirmed by the tech companies, by the algorithms, and have programmed these boys. So the masculinity now is coming through the programming of the boys through the social media, not not the men in the community.
Right.
Which more so would have been our experience.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know. I think that we need to stop confusing masculinity with menace.
I like that.
Yeah, we need to stop confusing masculinity with menace. And what I was gonna say is, and this is the reason why I wanted you to go through the synopsis of what the show's actually about, is I didn't watch that show. I'm aware of it, but I kind of got the cliff notes on it, so to speak.
Yeah.
And I don't necessarily agree. I think the show is somewhat agenda based again as well.
I agree. I do agree.
Yeah, I think it's somewhat agenda based, and I think that the pushback on the red pill community, although some of what I've seen in that kind of area and space is just kind of pathetic. It's just kind of, for lack of a better word, just losers who can't get a date, moaning in a particular echo chamber in a part of social media land. I think that some of the points that come from that area are legitimate pushback from males who have legitimate gripes with the way the society is going.
I agree.
And feel like, you know what, I want to go and box and watch. I want to box as in. I want to go and box, or I want to go and do MMA. I want to come home, I want to have a beer. You know what I mean? And I don't want to be labeled as being toxic because I like fighting. Yeah. As long as I'm not beating up anybody else and breaking the law, this is what I like. I want to be a male. I want to open the door for my significant other, not because I think that she's dainty, she can't do it herself, but I just like that traditional role. I like, for example, but I'm speaking figuratively, to give my significant other, my wife, my girlfriend, the opportunity to stay at home, and I want to be the provider. I want to earn enough money so that she can relax and maybe look after the children. Whereas these things now,
I think Kevin Samuels blew that out of the water. I know he's another one we shouldn't talk about, but again, he has to be studied because.
No, I love Kev, man.
Because
Kev's my guy, bro.
Yeah, Kev's your guy, but again, this is one of the things I've got to say when you triangulate your information.
Yeah.
He.
No, I understand that a lot of people don't. Understand a lot of people.
One of the things he did.
Yeah.
And it's interesting because I didn't know this. So I come from a single parent home where I saw my mum work the bloody net, like knuckles to the. Do you understand?
Right.
And grandmother, so on and so forth. So he would ask a question.
Yeah.
Where. So I assume, your woman's supposed to work because obviously that's what I saw in my mum, that's what I saw in my grandmother. So he would ask the question, okay, so...
Do you want to pay significant bills?
He said, okay, so how much of the household
load
would you like to take? And like, a woman would say, he said, after your first child.
Yeah.
You get me? And the woman would be like, if they're honest, they'd be like,
10%,
20%,
10%, nothing.
And then some women would be like 50%. So he's going,
Yeah.
okay, cool. So if it's 50%, if your husband lost his job, you'd be willing to take on. And she's like, no.
Yeah.
And it became very apparent that although this idea of the provider male, your woman stays at home, your woman goes out to work, after doing a survey of like, he did a show a night for like 3 years. So like, let's say he spoke to like 200 women.
Yep.
The vast majority of them do not want to take on the financial load of the house. So,
but he was, and
that is a strong survey of 200 people. L'Oreal don't survey that many people when they look at things.
He was a master strategist.
But
in the way that he would do.
I say that to say, to prove what you're saying and just to support what you're saying, in that there are these ideas that are seen as toxic and red pill. When you drill down into them and you actually survey, they're not. I think you're getting this view.
Sorry, say it one more time.
These red pill ideas of like toxic masculinity. You want your woman to stay at home and have babies attached to her and so on and so forth.
Right.
The reality is, and he proved it.
Commonplace.
They're pretty commonplace. So you've got this media you got this media perception.
Yeah.
And then you've kind of got what's really happening in the real world.
Yeah.
I agree with you.
Yeah.
I agree. You were going to say.
No, 100%. And you know what? I'm going to throw it out there. I actually think that they bumped him off. Yeah. I'm going to now go fully into conspiracy mode.
Do you want to hear my conspiracy? You do yours first and I'll do mine second.
Because I want to give some context, because when I say Kev's my guy, I don't want it to be interpreted what I potentially like about Kevin and what I don't like about Kevin. Yeah. Kevin Samuels, that would be. Yeah. I think that, just to give a critique, I don't think he was always right. I think he was a bit extra sometimes in his critique of some of the participants who would call into his show, especially when he would berate them about their looks and stuff like that, right? However, it's important to note that a lot of people called in for that specifically. Can you give me a rating? Where would you rate me? Yeah. But more so, what I liked about Kevin and what I think he was very clever is, I think he done a very clever expose on the viewpoint of females and femininity in general, and how it's shifted,
insight,
and how a lot of it's kind of built on
false mirrors and smoke.
Just nonsense on no foundation. Because what he portrayed is that almost everybody was looking for a rich man. So all of a sudden they'd kind of, society had changed and gravitated where no one was happy to date Pete the plumber anymore. You get me? Or Dave the trucker. Everyone wanted basically
Billy the banker.
Not either Billy the banker or Jamie the flipping
tech billionaire or whatever.
Tech billionaire or the baller, the basketballer. They all wanted these 6-figure earning people who he rightfully pointed out are like 1%.
Yeah.
So where he pointed out this kind of fallacy that all of a sudden you've got all of these women competing for this Prince Charming, where there's only one of them to 100 women.
Yeah, but they didn't care.
They didn't care. They didn't want that. What he also done, which was really, really interesting as well, was show that whole perspective, I think, where there's a lot of untruths. Because I don't know if you noticed, but all the women that were called his show, all of them would be like, yeah, I'm earning 6 figures. Yeah, I'm earning 6 figures. Yeah, I'm doing this. Yeah, I'm doing that. And I thought to myself, how can it be that when he does this call in the cross section, no one ever calls in to say, well, you know what? Yeah, I'm an average lady. You know what I mean? I'm looking for an average guy. It was just skewed. So it showed that there was a lot of fluff, there was a lot of dishonesty, and there was a lot of kind of imaginary kind of thing. Also, what I really did like as well, might be the comic relief, is when he would actually do the ratings, and he would actually drill down into what people's expectations. Almost every woman would view themselves as a 10.
Yeah.
Which is impossible. And he would clearly give the criteria on it as well, by saying, all right, who do you think is a 10? In his ranking, he would put the Beyoncés of the world, people who were generally considered like in pop culture as world beauties, And everyone would call in and be like, yeah, I see myself basically on the level of Beyonce. Yeah, I'm entitled to someone, Prince Charming, who's XY. So it just showed
just to kind of bring back
anyway,
in
yeah. Come out of Kevin, but yeah,
Kevin Samuel's fandom.
boys, bruv. No,
I'm just hold on, just to kind of bring it back in. I'll give my short conspiracy. Yeah,
he was bumped off because he was promoting black love.
I don't think he was bumped off. I think he was paid off. I don't think he's dead.
Oh, get out.
Yeah, no.
Yeah, I got too far, no, man. Yeah,
okay.
I got too far.
Oh, you're not gonna. So I can't see this. I genuinely.
You think he's alive?
I genuinely don't.
Was he chilling with Tupac and Michael Jackson?
Michael Jackson's dead. Yeah, right. I don't think Tupac's dead, but let's not. And I think it's the same thing. I think.
Yeah.
You're right. He was beginning to because of the frequency and how powerful the message is. See, when he crafted this narrative, yeah, and he was just every night, bang, 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 bang. He was on it,
and he was making.
And he started to make a difference and create discourse.
Yeah.
And
let me
hold on. And I think he started to create this discourse, and he'd impacted popular culture. I'm not sure if you saw. I'm not sure if you saw the television program Atlanta. Yeah, so there was an episode of Atlanta, and he was on it, and I think there was a Future video. And he was in there. I
saw that. Yeah.
So he's now starting to really get in
to the zeitgeist. Yeah.
And I think they said to him, "All right, here, yeah, you got to
ease off, bro.
You see the tech, the same people who you're saying are crafting this idea away from masculinity, traditional masculinity, and the same people that said to him, right, listen, you got a choice
because that was counter." That was counter to the messaging.
It was counter.
Remember, you've got a brother who's come on now and he's dressed elegantly.
Let me explain this to you. He had a thing called the 3 Fs, yeah?
Mm-hmm.
Was it frames, fragrance, and footwear, yeah?
Mm-hmm.
Frames, fragrance, and footwear.
Mm-hmm.
I can directly look into the camera. I was a cologne man before, yeah? Like, he made me upgrade my fragrances. You see my frames, yeah? You see my frames. I've always been a glass. I'm saying I took conscious decision, started tinting certain frames that have the little tint and see the impact as a man and how you dress and conduct yourself. I can look into the camera and say this. You see Taylor fitting clothes. Listen, as a man who I understood what he was doing. And it was a thing where listen, you either disappear, like here's X amount of money, go away, stop doing this thing, or it's not going to end well for you.
Yeah,
so I think he took the money and he's chilling on the beach somewhere.
Right, so for the record, just to wrap this up, because I don't see a lot of people giving my man his due, yeah? His show was making an impact. This is my assessment.
And Black Love is what you said.
His show was making an impact, yes, on men, because here you had, all of a sudden, a successful man on screen,
clean,
who was portraying himself in a very kind of debonair, dapper, grown style, clean, like you said, it was saying, always in a suit. Even when he was dressed casual wear, it was sharp, it was on point. He was very articulate, very intelligent and clever. He was able to navigate his show to a degree. Although some of it was playing to the gallery and it was a bit crass, quite classily, yeah. And he was promoting Black Love, because
I think that's the bit you've got to go back to.
It was totally counterculture to this attack against masculinity, because he was although classically in the refined style, he was a very masculine guy who was out here promoting. You know what? Forget the £100,000 earner or the 6-figure earner or whatever it is.
A man who's gonna love you.
Find someone. Stick with that person and ride it out, work it out, build. You can't do it on your own. You cannot do it. That was basically his son message. Yeah. You can't do it on your own. If you choose these paths, you will die alone. Find someone, work with them.
I'm going to tell you something. I'm going to throw a bit of a conspiracy theory in, and I'll never forget this. Yeah, and I'm going to we're going to kind of begin to wrap up on this. Yeah, seeing as we're all being conspiracists today. Yeah. I genuinely believe. There has been a shift in masculinity, because what you're seeing now is you're seeing less couples, you're seeing less married couples, you're seeing less families, you're seeing so on and so forth. And yes, it is amazing that women are earning at a certain rate, and women are kind of building businesses and so on and so forth. But ultimately, women are massive consumers. Yeah, women are huge,
more than men. Definitely.
Huge consumers. And I remember hearing, like, you used to have back in the day, you used to have people who used to come door to door and sell, yeah, door to door and sell.
Avon, Amway.
You'd knock on the door, even people like Asian men used to come around, like it was known, and like they'd sell goods. And if you can't make
way back, man.
Yeah, you can't. You wouldn't be able to finalize the sale until the man was there.
100%. You come back, my dad's there.
Yeah, no, my husband.
Yeah, my husband. Yeah,
you cannot finalize, and it's almost, you see it online where women are talking about, oh yeah, I've got to kind of check that with my husband. Like I can't make any major purchases without my husband. You see, without that, those checks and balances, and it's the same thing for men.
Without a man in the house.
It's the same thing for men, but they don't give it. Like, I can't like randomly just go out and not tell my wife. There's certain things you say, oh, I've got to check with my wife first, yeah? Because it's check and balance. Mm-hmm. See, from a financial perspective, when you have women who have a high income and no checks and balances, they are just consuming. You see them talk about flipping
all the 10 grand credit.
No, debt, Boohoo, Shein, blah, blah, blah. This, that, and have all the deliveries just slap into the house. The Amazons, the this, the that. They have just all they are ATMs for companies. A company can find a woman. The algorithm figures out exactly what you want. You're on they're the biggest consumers of social media. They show you what you want, and you click and you buy. You're not. What's not happening specifically in where I'll say, I can speak for the black community. There's no generational wealth being built. There's no like long-standing businesses.
It's color lines, though.
Specifically, because the reason is because even the businesses that a lot of people, especially women, are saying they build. Hold on. They're not employing like beyond 2 or 3 people. So they may be building individual wealth, but it's not community wealth. It's not anything that goes beyond them. So that's my conspiracy. They didn't. When families come together, they're able to build things that are generational impact to community. Whereas if it's an individual thing where you're earning 100K, no one else ain't benefit from that.
Yeah, no, I see you right on that. The only difference that I think is the only thing I would add to that is I think it's much more insidious. I don't think it's just about wanting people's income to support companies. I think it's also about shaping and controlling the next generation.
Yeah.
But when you take these, when you take the thing, because it's not just about taking the fathers out of the households, although that's a part of it. When you shape this narrative around masculinity, you are, changing the direction of culture, because men are now assuming different roles. Men are dressing a lot more effeminately. There's, a different kind of approach to, what being a man is. Whereas traditionally it would have been this kind of, if I take someone out for a date, I'm gonna pay. If something goes bump in the night, I'm gonna get up. Now I've heard conversations over the last however long where these kind of accepted things are being challenged, and it shows a great sociological shift, right, in what masculinity is being interpreted to be.